Hey guys, this is Jared here with the Alamodome Audible. UTSA and UAB had an incredible, really storybook ending in their game last week in the Alamodome. It was essentially a play-in game, a semifinal for the conference championship, if you will, where the winner pretty much was a guarantee to play in the conference championship game. For UTSA, it was a guarantee that they would play in the championship game and host it as well. And it was really an incredible matchup. You know, both teams are very deserving of the victory. But ultimately, UTSA was able to go 77 yards at 1 minute 6 seconds using just 7 plays to get into the end zone and score a very crazy and heroic final pass to tight end Oscar Cardenas. So I wanted to go through each play in the drive one by one and kind of break down how UTSA was able to cover so much ground so quickly and ultimately come out of this game with a win. So starting on the first play here, UTSA is on their own about 23-yard line. They have a trips left bunch wide receiver on the left-hand side. I believe those are their 3-star receivers out there. JT or Decorey Clark, Zachary Franklin, Josh Cephas. You've got an end-line tight end on the right-hand side, Oscar Cardenas, Frank Harris under center in the shotgun, and of course, Sincere McCormick, their star running back in the backfield as well. Right off the bat, UAB actually looks a little discombobulated here. So I have jumped forward and played a little bit, but they actually had 12 players on the field to start the drive, and one of them had to run off at the last second. And it was kind of close to being called. You know, I think UTSA probably could have snapped the ball off and gotten those yards off penalty if they had noticed that. But as we hit play here, you'll see some UAB players kind of looking around. You know, there's a safety kind of trying to call coverage to the corner down there. You also know that the UAB is playing a pretty soft defense here, so they're definitely trying to use the clock to their advantage and maybe give up a little bit of green space. Right off the bat, typically in this type of a bunch trio wide receiver formation, you would have a cornerback kind of playing press coverage against this front guy, to try to prevent against like a bubble screen. But of course, UTSA is not really going to run a play like that, given the down distance time. They don't have any timeouts left here. So let's go ahead and hit play. And we'll see that UTSA uses a high-low route combination here. One guy, I believe, takes off on a post route in the deep corner right there to Clark. Frank Harris misfires out of bounds, but not a bad play for UTSA. I think they only took up, 6 seconds on that one. So you really can't complain with that result. You don't use too much clock, and you take good care of the football. So let's go into the second play here. Hit pause. So UTSA spreads it out a little bit more. They have the tight end Oscar Cardenas out in the slot with the 3 receivers spread out for a 4-wide set. You can see the linebackers here for UAB actually start to sneak up and kind of show a blitz look. I don't think they actually end up blitzing on any play on this drive. I think they bring 3 guys in pressure throughout the entire drive, which is a little bit surprising because the right tackle, number 77 for UTSA, was actually getting hit pretty hard in the pass rush. So I was surprised to see that UAB at least didn't bring 4, with at least 1 linebacker coming on the blitz at any point in this series that I notice. We'll see as we go through each play one by one if that changes. Yeah, so linebackers drop back. You actually see pretty good pass rush for just those 3. Great touch throw from Frank Harris here. So let's take this back. Let's see what happens here. So Cardenas kind of goes in and up. Linebacker freezes there. I just don't think that other linebacker thought that Cardenas would actually take it up into the seam here. UTSA really hadn't used the tight ends much in the passing game against UAB. So I think it caught them by surprise a little bit. I think UTSA was keeping that in their back pocket, kind of a shatter case of emergency scenario. And it's kind of like a 4-corner look from UTSA here. See Sincere McCormick flare out right here on the right. The receiver out here, you see him on the 50. That's Franklin out there. And then the receivers on the left side kind of do the same thing. Just go to the sideline, and they clear a ton of space for Cardenas here. And great job. Hey, let's take it back one more time. So watch Frank Harris's feet here. So both tackles get pushed back a little bit. Pocket gets a little tight. Frank Harris takes 2 good steps forward, finds his feet, and lofts that pass in. That's great. 54 seconds here. I mean, right off the bat, UTSA's in a pretty good spot to have a couple shots downfield to win this one. So that was a great play to set up the rest of this drive. Good job getting up to the line quickly. Let's pause it. So again, 3 down linemen for UAB. Well, really just 1 down lineman, the nose tackle here, with the 2 ends standing up. We've got 2 high safeties here for UAB. Obviously, given the scenario, that makes sense. Look how much cushion the defensive backs are giving these receivers. That is a lot of space to work with. With 50 seconds left on the clock, Frank Harris can just hit out routes here, pick up 5 yards a couple times, and UTSA is going to be a really good position to take shots into the end zone without killing much clock. So pretty much same formation as that last play. We've got 3 wide out left with Cardenas in the slot. Then we got, I think that's Franklin up there on the right-hand side solo. Again, just around the pass rush. Nothing there. So a good job, I said, by Frank Harris of taking what the defense is giving him. No one's like super open on this one. You'll notice that they actually do stick with Cardenas up the field. So watch the linebacker covering him in the middle of the field here. So he actually takes it steps all the way with Cardenas, right? Like 20, 30 yards down the field. And, really my takeaway here is this is a great job from UTSA receiver JT Clark, number 88, to come back to the football, make a great catch with his hands. He keeps the ball off of his body. And once, potentially the game-setting play from Clark, really, look where he's at when he catches the football right here, right? He is a good 7, 8 yards away from the sideline, right? He's still able to take the contact from 2 guys, a good 4 or 5 yards from the sideline. And Clark is just so strong and so powerful that he's able to get out of bounds and stop the clock on this play. So it's really, really impressive stuff right there. Those are the small things that win you football games. So again, UTSA is doing a good job here, coming back to the line, getting set. Clock is stopped, but you don't want to give the defense time to substitute or have any big communication. So I said pause, see where we're at. So it looks like Cardenas comes down and is an attached tight end here in line. We've got 2 receivers out on the right, Clark in isolation here on the left. Looks like the Mike linebacker just kind of fakes like he's going to blitz. You can see his front foot forward here, but I think he's going to end up dropping back. Again, very, very soft coverage, no blitz coming. Let's see how this works out for UAB. Yep, so see the linebackers drop. Pretty good coverage. Let's annotate a little bit here. Cardenas covered up. I believe there's a Cephas right here. Franklin's covered at the top left. You got 2 guys actually on Sincere McCormick, right? Pretty good pass protection. I mean, look at this pocket for Frank Harris. He can sit back here all day, and he kind of ends up doing that, right? So let's clear these drawings. And let's play on the pass. Incredible. Incredible stuff. First off, let's talk about throw. Frank Harris, right? He's kind of been maligned his whole career, going back to when he was a sophomore in college. These are the type of throws that people said that Frank Harris couldn't make. He makes it right here in a high stakes game. Look at the poise. Look at how, I want to pause it for just a second at this end zone camera angle right here. Okay, so look at Frank Harris's eyes. So keep in mind, he's got 2 receivers out here to the right. He's got Franklin and Cephas out wide on the right. Both are covered up. But he's looking that way, not because he wants to throw it to one of those covered receivers, but rather he believes that Clark is going to get open right here on the left. And he is looking off the safeties to make sure that they can't give too much assistance to that cornerback on the left-hand side. Again, great pocket, and then boom, turns, swings his body across, puts it right on the sideline, back shoulder. There is no chance that this cornerback can make a play on the football. Take a play-by-play. Pretty good separation here, right? So let's draw a little bit again, right? So you've got your corner right here. Anything back here? That's JT Clark territory right there. If you can put the ball in this scribble zone right here, Clark is going to get this every time, right? He's 6'2", 6'3" receiver, a lot of muscle on him, and Frank Harris puts it exactly where it needs to be. See if we can get a frame by frame action, right? So you get a little contact right here from the corner. You can see him kind of initiating contact. I think Clark's got a hand on his arm trying to bat that off of him. So again, you can see right here, the corner has his hand on Clark's elbow. Got a little uncalled defensive pass interference there, but Clark is strong enough that he's able to fight through that, and it doesn't really do too much to stop him from making the play here. And then you can see the extension. I mean, look at that. That's a beautiful extension, right? Like, look at the way that Clark was able to turn his shoulders over and then square up on that ball. Look at the size differential as well, right? I mean, this cornerback, he's in pretty good position on this play, right? If you're UAB, you can't complain too much for that coverage. That is just a great athlete right here, 88 for UTSA, JT Clark, going up and not only having the size, but also the leaping ability. He was able to go up and high point that ball at its highest peak in the trajectory at a spot where the cornerback was not in phase to turn his head and look for the ball and make a play on it while it was in the air. And the cornerback just doesn't have the size to disrupt Clark's hands, right? Because he catches it with his hands right here. If he's catching it on his chest, like you'll see, like, you know, less experienced receivers do. You see a lot of high school receivers do that. They catch it on their chest. But Clark goes up with his hands and grabs it above his helmet, right? So this cornerback just doesn't have the length to get up there and get into Clark's hands and kind of disrupt that catch, right? So you can see the cornerback's hands right here, still a good, you know, 6 to 8 inches of separation right there. And Clark is just so strong. He's got an iron grip on that football. So really great technique from Clark, great athleticism as well. It's a really well-coached receiver, I would say. And then to get 1-2 toes in right there, that's NFL catch, baby. That's great stuff. Love to see it. Okay, so what do you know? 28 ticks left. UTSA is on the UAB 10-yard line already. It's a lot of time left. UTSA can run several plays here. So the same personnel that UTSA has had, Zachary Franklin out here, far distant near right sideline. You got Joshua Stevens on the slot on the right. JT Clark out isolation on the left. Cardenas end line blocking, tight end right here. And then you've got Sincere McCormick kind of split back with Harris right here out of the shotgun. So same deal for UAB here. So it looks like they're going to go with one down lineman. The linebackers are not playing too close to the line of scrimmage. Coverage is soft again. Keep in mind, a lot of time left on the clock here. So let's go ahead and hit play. All right, so quick releases here. Everyone's going vertical. You can see Sincere McCormick right here looking for a block. He's looking to see if there's any penetration from the defense. We actually do see a bit of a blitz from UAB here. I do see 4 pass rushers, right? But look at this linebacker here. Look how far off he is from the line of scrimmage, right? He's dropping into coverage. You've got 3 defenders right here, not really covering anyone, just sitting in the zone, looking to see if any of the receivers are going to cross over into the middle of the field. Right, so let's see what happens next. That's close. That's close. Let's play that one more time. All right, right here. That's a good screenshot right here. All right, so looks like Cephas is kind of open. I mean, that's a tough throw to make if you're Frank Harris, right? Like, you'd have to really rifle that ball in right here. But you got 2 guys that can come make a play on that, right? So if Frank Harris even lofts that a little bit, good chance that pass is getting picked off, right? So it's probably not a throw that Frank feels comfortable making, nor should he. So earlier we said that Cardenas was, lined up as a blocking tight end. So he actually releases, and look at the block that he throws on this linebacker right here. So he covers this guy up. Again, look at the size differential there. That's an easy block for Cardenas to make. So pass protection wasn't great. I'm not sure who this lineman is right here. They kind of get beat a little bit. So they've got an angle on Frank Harris. 77 right here. Makai Hart does a good job of owning this block. And it really creates this rushing lane for Frank Harris right here, right? So in this moment, Frank knows that he can maybe throw one into Cephas right here. I mean, if Cephas gets his hands on it, he'll probably catch it and bring it in for the touchdown and win the game. But again, that's a really risky throw to make with the game on the line. So I do like the decision from Frank Harris to take off and run because, there's 23 seconds on the clock. You just doesn't have a timeout, right? But it's not a first and goal situation. So UTSA can get a first down, and you should have an opportunity to get up and quickly, spike the ball to kill the clock. And then you'll have 3 plays to go, 2, 3, 1 yard, whatever you need to get it. So again, look at how Cardenas has completely run. I can't remember if there's a linebacker or safety, but he has completely run him out of the play, right? Now, Frank has got nothing but green grass in front of him. And what's a shame here is if Cephas would have realized that Harris was taking off earlier, then Cephas could have grabbed this block right here, drove the safety deep into the end zone, and then Frank Harris can walk in to the end zone, right? So I think that is the one thing that stops Frank from scoring on this play. Let's play it out just a second more and see where the tackle actually comes from. So Frank actually gets swallowed by 4 or 5 defenders here, right? So the receiver the safety that I pointed out that Cephas could have had the block on, he's definitely there to make the play, but I don't think that he's going to initiate the contact here. Yeah, so it looks like it was actually the other 2 players that were able to get to Frank Harris first. So now let's take a look at the situation, right? So UTSA is on the 1 yard line here, 19 seconds left. But you got to get lined up and you got to spike the ball pretty quickly. Typically in this situation is what you would see. But if you just say they'll do that, they've got probably 3 chances to take a shot into the end zone here, just depending on how quickly they can get that ball off. But what happens is actually pretty interesting here. So you see UAB, look, they are in no rush to get off of Frank Harris. That's number 21, Will Bowler there. And then check out my man, number 12 over here. I believe Grayson Cash is his name. So he actually goes down to try to kill the clock, with a fake injury. And then he realizes that UAB already had a player down. So he's going to go ahead and jump back up. So this is really interesting. I would love to see a sideline angle for the UAB coaching staff to see, were they calling for UAB to try to kill the clock here and stop that clock to kind of reset? Or was this UAB players really not understanding the dynamics of the situation, right? Because stopping the clock here is actually a big benefit to UTSA. That prevents them from having to spike the football and from burning it down from that spike, right? And also keep in mind, when you spike the football, you lose a couple of yards, right? So if UTSA were to line up and spike the ball, they probably lose 2 yards there. And they make it a little bit harder to just hand the ball to Sincere McCormick and just, power down for a game-winning touchdown. So, it was a really interesting decision or, lack of awareness from UAB. I'm not sure. Who knows? Maybe the UAB player that's down there truly was injured. I'm not sure if he stayed in the game for this next play or not. But regardless, it was a circumstance that really benefited UTSA greatly, right? So let's go ahead and hit play here. We'll keep it rolling, keep it rolling, keep it rolling. So you see Frank, he's making the motion. We're going to spike. We're going to hurry up. And then you get the whistle from the refs with the UAB player number 14 there down, waiting for the trainers to run out. So, yeah, that's number 14. And number 55 here, UTSA center Alfie Tamaka. He's ready to go. He doesn't want to wait around. All right, so here we go. We're lined up. Okay, so the refs end up putting 9 seconds on the clock. UTSA, I believe, at the 1-2 yard line. So we've got Oscar Cardenas in line on the left-hand side here. UTSA actually changes to a 12 personnel. They actually bring in a second tight end here, Leroy Watson, who's a primary blocking tight end as a starter, right? So you got that 12 personnel, and you got Zachary Franklin, Josh Cephas out here, Cephas in the slot. McCormick, again, going to be split back with Frank Harris at quarterback. So let's go ahead and hit play. Is a really, really quick play for UTSA. So you see Frank saying, get down, get down, get down. He's ready to go as soon as he can. He probably sees something he likes here, right? And that might be why he's moving so fast. So if we take a look at the offensive line here, look at the steps from the blockers. So I think this is interesting here. So Spencer Buford, UTSA's star left tackle draft prospect. So he hits hard and does a hook block on the defensive tackle here. Oscar Cardenas has an inside shade block on this linebacker. So to me, this looks like a run pass option. Now that's interesting because you would expect for a play like this that Sincere would be a lot closer to Frank Harris, right? And have that opportunity to, take the dive, if you will. But I just thought it was interesting because the blocking from the offensive line doesn't really match up with what we see on the rest of the play, because UTSA does end up throwing a pass here. If it is a one-pass option, I don't see Frank Harris actually making much of a read as far as run or pass. So let's jump forward again, see what happens next. So it starts to make a bit more sense here. So I think that the run block look from the offensive line was more to draw the linebackers in on the play, as opposed to actually creating a running lane for Frank Harris or for Sincere McCormick, right? So essentially what you have here is you've got these two linebackers looking at Frank as he rolls out to the left, right? So, number 77 right tackle, he's doing well on this drive, but earlier throughout the game, he was, having a rough go at it. He was really getting abused by Alex Wright, UAB's, really strong outside linebacker, great pass rusher. So it makes sense that UTSA offensive coordinator Barry Looney wants Frank Harris to roll away from that side of the field and instead, operate behind two of his best blockers, and Oscar Cardenas and Spencer Buford, right? So he's rolling out. He's got these two linebackers staring at him. What would have been fun here, Sincere can slip right through it here for a little shovel pass action. That would have been fun to see. So it looks like we're going to get a pick route here, and I think that's exactly what happens. So Zachary Franklin comes in right here. I don't think he runs much of a route. And then Josh Cephas, I believe this is, hits this crossing pattern. So let's hit play, jump forward just a couple of frames. Yep, and that's exactly what we got, right? So Zachari's here, he has his hands up, he's looking for the ball. So it's a perfectly legal play. He is a receiver. He has his hands up, ready to make a catch. And it actually creates a decent amount of space for Cephas. I mean, look at where he's at versus the defender. So it's not going to be an easy throw. So again, think back to that previous play where Frank Harris took off on the scramble, right? Like, yes, this is a play that Cephas can win on. He can catch the ball, but it's risky, right? Because if Frank floats his ball just a little bit, this corner can pick that ball off and end the game immediately, right? And not a whole lot of running room for Harris as well. I mean, he can maybe hit a pump fake, see if he can pull this linebacker out, but still, you got two guys right here bearing down on him, right? Again, Sincere could have snuck out right here. Frank hits the pump fake. He probably pulls all three of these guys. Sincere might be wide open in the end zone. So that would have been fun to see. Maybe something for you to say to try out against UNT this week, or perhaps in the conference championship game. So I think Frank makes the right throw here, throwing it low and outside. prevents any chance of the defender getting to the football. Great play. Fantastic play by the cornerback right here. Look how low he gets to the ground. He has his lead hand extended to potentially knock that ball away. So good throw by Frank, incompletion, but a good incompletion. It was a safe throw. He got it out quickly, kept a lot of time on the clock, and he avoided the turnover. But I think really story here, great job by this cornerback right here to, overcome that kind of pick route and get in front of Cephas, play some good defense. So 7 seconds left for UTSA. It's a great play. Only take 2 seconds off the clock. Potentially 2 more plays for UTSA if they need them here. I believe this down and distance incorrect. I think it's actually gone. Was it second down or third down? I'm not sure. No, this is third down. That's correct. Yep. So UTSA 2 plays left here. So again, they are in this 12 personnel. So we've got 2 receivers split out. Franklin on the left. I believe Cephas out on the right. And it looks like both tight ends on the left-hand side here. So I think you got Lever Watson right here, Oscar Cardenas, kind of in an H-back here, slightly detached from the line of scrimmage. Look how close UTSA splits are. I mean, the left guard, Terrell Haynes, is pretty much toe-to-toe with Alamodome. A little bit more space on the right-hand side. But if I'm UAB, I'm seeing these splits, and I'm like, there's no way they're running through here. There is no room at all for them to run, right? So it's kind of interesting this play works as well as it does for UTSA. Because let's look at the numbers, right? So like Cardenas is going to come out, and he's going to run a kind of an out route like this. So you got 1, 2, 3 guys literally right on top of Cardenas right here, right? But I think what goes on is UAB is really concerned about McCormick getting the ball on this play just a yard away from the line of scrimmage. So if we go back actually to the last play, so this is that incompletion to Cephas. Let me jump back a little bit further. So watch the linebackers on this play, right? So I think this is really what sets up the touchdown for UTSA. So watch the inside linebackers right here. Like first off, right off the bat, very aggressive stance from this linebacker. To have a foot forward like that. He's not going to have a lot of outside leverage if UTSA would have ran outside. He's coming straight downhill, right? Look at how both of those linebackers jump forward, right? They were really, really, really anticipating a run right there. So I think UTSA coordinator Barry Looney saw that from up top, and that influenced just his play call and kind of this pick pop to the tight end Oscar Cardenas. So let's jump forward. Let's keep that in mind that these linebackers are playing really aggressive against the run, against play action, because they're really worried about UTSA's best player, Sincere McCormick, getting handed the ball and just fighting for the 1 yard for the win here, even though, UTSA has no tight ends to stop the clock should McCormick be stopped. All right, so there is a lot going on here. I think I'm going to keep paused on this screen for a little bit. So first off, obviously, bat snap from Ahufi Tamaka, UTSA center, right? It's low. Frank probably could have caught it, but it's kind of an acrobatic catch down at his ankles. Fumbles the football, picks it up off the turf. What I want to call out, and I don't think you can really see it from this screenshot, but you see how Sincere's foot is kind of out and down like that? Reason being, Sincere noticed that the snap was low. The play called for him to, be kind of decoy in this direction, but he actually picks his foot up and drags it away to make sure that his foot doesn't make contact with that football. If his cleat hits that ball, it gets kicked probably somewhere over here, and that's ball game. I mean, UAB gets a stop, and it's over. So that was really impressive. So we see Watson, the inline tight end, he's essentially playing offensive tackle right here. Remember the short splits that I talked about earlier? Look at them now. I mean, this is like a field goal split for Spencer Buford, Terrell Haynes, and Alfita Maka right here in the middle of the field. So really what they're doing, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but they're really bunching up the interior of that defense and just kind of keeping them in the middle of the field, which actually gives Cardenas more room to work with. So if you remember before the play, I circled the 3 defenders that are right on top of Cardenas, right? Well, one linebacker, he fits right into the offense here on that low snap and on the play action, or what should have been play action, I guess, because they couldn't really do the fake handoff to McCormick. This guy is already looking. He's like, that ball's low. I'm going to go chase Frank Harris because he's probably going to take off and run with it. So now that leaves Cardenas finally in a one-on-one situation with a linebacker with no one else anywhere around him in the end zone. Oh boy. And there it is, folks. The linebacker just doesn't have any concern for Oscar Cardenas. I'm not even sure where he's looking. Look, Zachary Franklin hasn't even moved on this play. He's just a straight decoy, right? But he garners so much respect from the UAB cornerback. And keep in mind, Zachary Franklin has run legitimate routes like this where he doesn't move at the start of the ball, and he has such quick acceleration that he can just shake off this cornerback and fly in, right, on a quick slant right here. I've seen him do that several times this year. So I think that's why the corner stays locked in on Franklin. Maybe also why the linebacker looks out towards him, right? Because like if you scouted UTSA, the odds of the ball going to Franklin, even though he's not in motion here, he's just standing still, is a lot higher than them looking for Cardenas, right? They don't typically use Cardenas all that often in play action passing. You know, maybe once a week or something like that. So from a percentage standpoint, it makes sense that UAB would get fooled by this. But wow, I mean, how wide open could Cardenas be right here? It's kind of amazing. All right, so Frank Harris goes to release the football. Kind of a leaping throw from Frank. You see he's got 1 foot down right here, 1 in the air. It's kind of shot putting it. I mean, not really an ideal passing form from a quarterback here. And then this linebacker realizes that he is not where he's supposed to be. He said, oh, crap, that tight end was an eligible receiver. So he starts heading back this way. But is that enough for him to catch up to what's going to be a pretty bad throw from Frank Harris, all things considered? He's going to loft that thing in there. But hey, it don't matter if it's pretty. It matters if it's caught. That's exactly what happens. So obviously, great play by the linebacker to get a finger on that football, right? So right there, got a quick tip. Pretty athletic play from 50 there to get a hand up, to jump, to deflect the ball. But it's an even better showing from Oscar Cardenas to maintain concentration and focus. So look at him there, like he's like dragging his feet. He's got his hands extended, ready to receive the football, eyes up, and he's going to watch that football all the way in. So look at him right there. For any young pass catchers at home, look, you need to look the football in as intently as Cardenas is right here. He looks like he's about to ask that ball to marry him. I mean, that is intent focus on the football. And he finishes the catch all the way through, right? He doesn't just say, okay, I've got it in my hands, I'm satisfied. He's going to finish that sucker right there. Keeps his hand underneath the football with his right hand arm right there. Leroy Watson already knows what's up. And what I love, Cardenas pops up, throws up the UTSA birds up, and it's a party in San Antonio. The West has been won, UTSA division champions. What a great celebration from UTSA as well. I mean, you look at some of the guys out there celebrating. Look at that student section. I mean, what an insane scene. This is why universities invest so much in their football programs to have moments like this. and to create these lasting connections with their students and alumni. It's really a beautiful, beautiful thing. So great job by UTSA. Incredible work. Great play calling. I think great execution. Sometimes it just takes a miracle, and UTSA got one. If you guys enjoy this, be sure to check out our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Alamodome Audible. We do film breakdowns like these all the time. GIF format, video format, all the time. You subscribe there, you get all of our content. We hope you guys will like and subscribe to this video. Check out our game highlights. Check out all of our content. We really appreciate it. Help the channel grow. Get a little bit more exposure for UTSA football out there in the hearts and minds of college football fans across the country. So thank you guys for your support. We hope you'll check out more of our videos. Thanks, y'all.